All right, right now, as you're settling in to watch this explainer, your heart is just acting like a steady, reliable pump, right? It's operating quietly in the background at this nice, calm, resting rate. But, well, we aren't here today to talk about resting. We're here to look at a dark, intense, and frankly, incredible internal mechanical battle. Today, we're going deep. Think of it as exploring the cinematic, widescreen landscape of your own chest cavity to witness what high-intensity interval training, or HIIT, actually does to your heart valves. We'll cover the good, the intense, and the absolute cellular transformation that happens inside you. So let's just dive right into it.
So what exactly happens when your heart redlines? I mean, the exact moment you start a high-intensity interval. Just picture it, you're dropping into a 30-second all-out sprint, or maybe a heavy, crushing set of burpees. Everything changes in an instant. Your heart rate doesn't just casually climb up. No, it absolutely redlines. Now, most people out there are probably just focusing on, the calories burned. But inside your chest, there is literally a mechanical battle taking place. Your heart valves are suddenly snapping and fighting under these immense pressures that, honestly, they just weren't designed to handle 24/7.
Which brings us to section 1, surviving the pressure surge. When you launch into one of those intervals, the actual physics of your body shift dramatically. Your working muscles suddenly demand oxygen at this explosive rate. And to keep up, your heart has to increase its output by up to 5 times. Think about that for a second. 5 times the output. It's pushing a massive surge of blood through your entire system. Your heart is racing, your blood is surging, and this creates an absolutely massive spike in systolic blood pressure. It's just a frantic, incredible rush to deliver oxygen to those starving muscles. And this perfectly illustrates something called pressure overload. That massive surge forces the aortic valve, which is basically the ultimate gatekeeper of your heart, to snap open and shut with just incredible force. Look, in a resting state, this valve opens smoothly, it's gentle, but right now, under this extreme pressure, it has to slam shut violently just to prevent backflow. Now, I know pressure overload sounds a bit scary, doesn't it? But here's the absolutely crucial takeaway. This intense mechanical stress is actually the primary trigger for your heart's positive adaptation. Moving on to section 2, stretching the heart chambers. You see, the real magic of HIIT isn't just about how fast your heart beats, it's actually about the sheer volume of blood moving through your system. Because you're pushing so much blood through so quickly, your heart goes through what we call eccentric remodeling. Essentially, the chambers of your heart, specifically that left ventricle, actually physically stretch. Think of it exactly like an expanding balloon. By stretching those walls under high volume, your heart is fundamentally upgrading its internal capacity. It becomes physically capable of holding significantly more blood. And that physical stretching? Well, that leads us directly to stroke volume. This is simply the increased amount of blood your heart can pump per single beat after that eccentric remodeling has happened. Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter to me? Because the more blood you can pump per beat, the much less your heart actually has to work when you're just, say, resting on the couch. Basically, you're building a massive engine that barely even has to idle to keep you going. Just compare the two states. A sedentary heart hasn't been stretched, it has a lower volume capacity, and it just has to do significantly more work, beating way more often just to maintain basic everyday functions. But an athletic heart, mid-workout, it has stretched walls, a vastly higher volume capacity, and as a direct result of all that, a much lower resting heart rate. Actually, this is exactly why elite athletes have those astonishingly low resting heart rates you always hear about.
Let's shift our focus a bit deeper for section 3, guarding the mitral valve.
A very common concern I hear is, wait, with all this violent snapping, can these intensely stressed valves actually start to leak? Well, to answer that, we have to look at the chordae tendineae, which are commonly known as the heartstrings. These are what secure the mitral valve. During peak intensity, that mitral valve is under immense, almost unimaginable stress. But these internal heartstrings tense up perfectly during a heartbeat. They pull tight to keep the mitral valve from blowing backward into the atrium. They're basically your heart's built-in safety tethers. So the really crucial point here is this. In a healthy heart, putting the mitral valve under this kind of extreme HIIT stress actually strengthens those tissues. It makes those heartstrings way more resilient. However, and this is a pretty big however, you have to respect the machine. If you fail to recover properly, you run the very real risk of overtraining. And overtraining doesn't just mean you have tired legs, it can actually lead to temporary cardiac fatigue. Your heart literally needs downtime to reinforce those strings. Which perfectly tees up section 4, the 24-hour afterburn.
We've talked a lot about the frantic sprint, but the actual transformation of your heart doesn't happen while you're gasping for air on the gym floor. No, it happens in the quiet, deliberate hours that follow as your body shifts into its cellular repair phase. Following this transformation arc, minutes after your workout ends, a subtle internal shift begins. A few hours later, a dedicated repair signal is triggered throughout your cardiac muscle fibers. But the most profound transformation, that actually happens while you're sleeping. And the results of that sleep state repair echo for decades in the form of long-term cardiovascular protection. It's just a brilliant chronological microjourney. During that sleep phase, the post-HIIT repair signal really goes to work on your mitochondria. It stimulates the microscopic growth and multiplication of these cellular power plants. Just imagine this subtle healing process around your muscle fibers, as your heart literally supercharges itself, building entirely new engines at the cellular level just to handle the next stress test you throw at it. And this microscopic multiplication creates what we call metabolic flexibility. Because of those new mitochondria, your heart learns to efficiently switch back and forth between burning fats and burning sugars. This internal rewiring makes your heart an incredibly adaptable engine. And that adaptability, that is exactly what protects you against cardiovascular disease 10, maybe even 20 years down the line. You are literally future-proofing your own chest cavity.
All right, bringing us to our final section, the final verdict. So, we've seen the violent pressure overloads, the stretching chambers, the tensing heartstrings, and that whole cellular afterburn process. The big question, is all this extreme internal stress actually safe? For the vast majority of people, the answer is a resounding yes. HIIT is arguably the single most effective way to upgrade your internal machinery. Your valves, your heartstrings, your chambers, they are explicitly built for this kind of intensity. Human machinery is quite literally designed to adapt to this. But, and remember this relies entirely on giving your body the rest it has earned. Recovery is where the upgrade is actually installed. Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating final thought. We know how your heart handles the absolute extreme of a 30-second sprint, but how do your other more common daily habits, like, say, drinking your morning cup of coffee, or just going for a casual walk, affect these newly upgraded metabolically flexible valves? Everything you put into your body interacts with this incredible machinery. So keep exploring, stay curious about your own biology, and of course, keep moving.